Today's fairy tale is another story from 1001 Nights or the Arabian Nights. The real story of Aladdin does not have a magic flying carpet, but this one does. And also so much murder. It's called Prince Ahmed and the Fairy Paribanou. An Islamic sultan of the Indies has 3 sons, Hussein, Ali, and Ahmed. His niece has now come of age to marry, and all 3 of his sons want to marry her. And yes, they are first cousins. That was a common thing in many cultures for many thousands of years. So the sultan declares a contest, a trope you will find in many other fairy tales in Europe, Asia, everywhere. The contest is for the 3 sons to go travel the world and buy the most magical items they can find. And the first one, Hussein, buys a magic carpet. Ali finds an ivory telescope that will let him see anything, and our guy Ahmed finds a magic apple that will cure any illness. Before they go home, the brothers reunite and compare their gifts, and Ali uses his telescope to see, oh no, their cousin is dying. They all get on Hussein's magic flying carpet to rush home, and then Ahmed uses the apple to cure her. Afterwards, no one can decide which prince gets her because they were all instrumental in saving her. So the sultan says, okay, whoever can shoot an arrow the farthest gets to marry her. Because the idea of just letting her decide does not occur to anyone. They shoot their arrows and then go off to find out where they landed, but when Ahmed's looking for his, he can't find it until he gets to this cave. There he finds this beautiful lady named Paribanou, and they fall in love with each other. She is a fairy and gives him all kind of magic and wealth. Eventually, he has to go home to his father because they're like, sure he's dead. But the fairy tells him, don't tell anyone about me, so he doesn't. But everyone's suspicious of all this wealth that he has, and the sultan is suspicious. So he tells this sorceress to follow him and figure out where he's going. And so she does follow him, and he's not supposed to bring her into the cave, but she pretends to be sick, and so he brings her in. And the fairy immediately is like, yo, this girl is lying. But it doesn't matter, she's seen the truth, and she goes back and tells the sultan. He's got this woman, she's a fairy, they've got all this wealth, they're gonna try to dethrone you, dude. But apparently the sultan can't imprison Ahmed just because he thinks he might dethrone him. So he comes up with an excuse. He says, you need to bring me a tent small enough to fit in a man's hand, but large enough to house an army. Also magical healing water from a fountain guarded by lions, and a man 1.5 feet high with a 30-foot long beard and a huge iron staff. So specific. But Ahmed has a fairy girl, and so with her help, he is able to get all of these things. She's like, why didn't you ask something hard? And she gets this tiny tent that just then blows up and is able to house armies inside. For the water from the lion-guarded fountain, she's like, take a horse for you, a horse to take a dead sheep that you've cut into 4 quarters, and an empty bottle for the water. So when he gets there, he throws the sheep, distracts the lions, goes and gets the water, and is able to ride away. As for the tiny man with the long beard and the iron staff, she's like, oh, don't worry, that's my brother. He can be super violent and mean, but he can also be super nice. So she invites her brother over, and when Ahmed meets him, it says that he would have been terrified of him if he hadn't known it was his chick's brother. Because he's friends with the fairy, her brother is super kind to Ahmed, and then he goes with him to his father and walks right up to him and says, hello, I'm the guy you wanted, what do you want? However, the king is so horrified to actually see him, he covers his eyes, and that's so rude to the dude that he instantly takes his iron staff and kills the sultan. Ahmed's like, oh my god, and he's like, no, it was the right thing. In fact, his vizier and all these other flatterers, they're your enemies too, and he just kills all of them too. Everyone who doesn't get killed is just watching like, oh my god. Then the fairy's brother's like, yeah, bring me that sorceress who pretended to be sick too. And they bring her and he kills her too. Then he turns to everyone who's there and he's like, all right, I will kill you all too if you don't immediately make my man Ahmed Sultan and swear loyalty to him forever. So everyone's like, long live Sultan Ahmed! And they make him the king. They go get the fairy and she becomes his lawful wife by his side. Prince Ali had been the one to actually marry their cousin that they were all trying to marry in the first place. And since Ahmed knows that he and the princess didn't have anything to do with the conspiracy, he's like, you guys are good, you can go have your own province and live happily ever after. And they're like, oh, thank you. So then he also goes to his brother Hussein. After not getting the princess, he went to go live by himself in solitude. So Ahmed sends him a message and says, hey, you can have whatever province you want. But he's actually so happy in his solitude, he said, nah, thanks for the kindness, but I'm good where I am. I'll be loyal to you and stuff as my sultan, but I'd really just rather chill and do my own thing. And so he does. And everyone lives happily ever after. As always, check out my book Dust Spells, a reimagining of the 12 Dancing Princesses, and my podcast. All the links are in the bio.